If I could go back, just one day, one decision, I would never have walked into that place. That single step cost me more than age ever did. And nobody warned me until it was too late. I didn't think much of it at first. It was a calm Tuesday morning. The sky was clear. The birds were chirping like usual outside my old window. My daughter had come over with a smile and a clipboard in her hand. "We've found a great place for you, Dad. It'll be safer. You'll get the care you need," she said, like this was something to celebrate. I looked around my home. The cracked photo frame on the wall, the little rocking chair that used to belong to my wife, the coffee stains on the table from years of slow mornings. Everything was familiar. Everything still felt like mine. I smiled for her. I didn't want to be a burden. I said yes. I thought I was doing the right thing, being strong, letting go, doing what everyone said was the smart move. But the moment we pulled up to that nursing home, and I saw the steel doors and the tiled floor and the endless beige walls, something inside me cracked. They called it a community. But what they don't tell you is that it feels like the world forgets you the moment you walk through that door. I was no longer a man in his home. I was just another old person waiting for nothing. I moved in thinking I'd be safe, cared for, even entertained. They had pamphlets full of smiling seniors playing cards and painting pictures. But that's not the reality. The first night, I lay on a mattress that wasn't mine, staring at a ceiling I'd never seen before. There were no pictures on the walls, no warmth in the air. A nurse walked in, gave me some pills, and said, "Let us know if you need anything." But when I pressed the call button at 2 a.m., because I was cold and scared, no one came. I waited 40 minutes before someone opened the door. That was the beginning. Days started to melt into one another. I woke up, was wheeled to breakfast, stared at the same tray of watery eggs, and sat with strangers who barely spoke. Some had lost their memory, some had lost hope, and some, like me, still had their minds but no longer felt alive. You start to feel like you're fading while your body is still here. It's a strange, painful thing. I used to be a teacher. I was sharp, energetic, proud. But in here, I was just Mr. Allen in room 214. They didn't ask about my past. They didn't care what I loved, what music I played on Sundays, or what my favorite meal was. I had become replaceable. No one warns you that once you're in, your world gets smaller. My daughter stopped visiting as often. At first, it was every weekend, then every other week, then maybe once a month. She'd always bring the grandkids and say, "We'll stay longer next time." But time kept slipping, and their visits got shorter. The worst part? I started telling myself it was okay. I didn't want to seem needy. I didn't want to remind them that I was still here, still waiting, still hoping. I was afraid of being seen as a burden again. I laughed less. I slept more. Not because I was tired, but because dreaming felt better than living. Sometimes I'd wake up and forget where I was. For a few seconds, I'd believe I was still home. Then I'd open my eyes and see the same bland curtain, the same cracked linoleum floor, the same sad silence. And every morning, it hit me all over again. I had made a mistake. A huge one. One I couldn't take back. And no one had told me it would feel this way. There's something terrifying about being surrounded by people and still feeling completely alone. That's what this place does to you. It numbs you. It takes your spirit little by little, not all at once. You wake up and you don't recognize yourself anymore. One evening, during dinner, a man named Richard, who had the room next to mine, suddenly started crying. Just tears falling silently onto his dinner tray. No one said a word. Not the other residents. Not the staff. Not even me. And that moment never left me. I realized we weren't living, we were just existing. Silent. Forgotten. I used to think pain meant screaming or breaking something or crying out. But now I know that the deepest pain is the one that's quiet. The kind where you're just done. I saw it in Richard's eyes. I saw it in mine when I looked in the mirror. Every day, I'd stare at my own reflection, looking for the man I used to be. He was disappearing. Not because of illness, not because of old age, but because of everything this place stripped away from me. I once had a garden. I used to wake up at 6 a.m., stretch my back, grab my tools, and work in the dirt while the sun came up. That garden taught me patience. It reminded me that life could grow again after storms. In here, there's no garden. There's no fresh air. Just a tiny courtyard that they roll you into once a week, if the weather's nice and the staff has time. I used to write letters to my wife even after she passed. I kept a journal. But one day a nurse accidentally threw my notebook away thinking it was scrap paper. That was the last time I wrote anything. Because what's the point of writing if no one will ever read it? What's the point of speaking when no one listens? And what's the point of living when you're not living anymore? They give you bingo nights, puzzle games, holiday crafts, but none of that replaces the feeling of belonging, of being known, of being seen. I wanted conversation, not just care. I wanted meaning, not just medication. There was no shortage of pills, but a massive shortage of connection. And when your mind is still active but your environment is cold and robotic, it starts to feel like torture. It would have been better if I didn't know what I was missing. But I did. And that's what hurt the most. I watched birthdays pass with no visitors. I watched holidays come and go without family. I watched the people around me slowly stop talking altogether. One woman, Mary, hadn't had a single visitor in 9 months. 9 months. She still wore lipstick every morning hoping someone would come. They never did. So I'm not telling you this for sympathy. I'm not sharing this to blame my family or attack the staff. I'm telling you this because someone needs to. Because I wish someone had said it to me before I signed the papers. Before I packed my bags. Before I said goodbye to my life, thinking I was walking into something safer. The truth is, the safest choice isn't always the best one. Comfort isn't the same as living. Don't let anyone talk you into disappearing. If you can stay home, stay. If you can fight for your independence, fight. If you're a son or daughter thinking about placing your parent in a home, please visit a few. Ask the hard questions. Look beyond the fancy brochures and smiling stock photos. Listen to the silence in the halls. Watch the residents. Ask yourself, would I want to live here? Because if the answer is no, your loved one probably doesn't either. And if you're the elder like me, standing on the edge of that choice, I beg you, don't give up your freedom too soon. You're still here. You still matter. You still have a voice. Use it. Speak. Choose. Fight for your story, your memories, your comfort, your home. You deserve more than a hallway and a schedule. You deserve to be seen, to be heard, and above all, to be loved while you're still alive.